It's a brand new era for West Virginia football. How will Neal Brown fare in his first year in Morgantown? Find out here on the Gridiron Expert. It is going to be a major rebuilding year for West Virginia in 2019. The Mountaineers lose their star quarterback in Will Grier, who in just 2 seasons became third all-time in West Virginia passing yards. They lose their top 4 wide receivers from 2018, 3 starting offensive linemen, and 3 of their top 6 tacklers on defense. So Neal Brown certainly did not inherit the best of situations when he took over here in Morgantown, but I do believe that he's the right man for the job and that he will make this West Virginia team contenders sooner rather than later. It probably will just not come in year 1. The offense returns just 3 starters, but luckily they do bring in a talented transfer quarterback in Austin Kendall, who transferred from within the Big 12, coming over from Oklahoma. They also bring in McKoy, their star running back from last year, who rushed for over 800 yards for the Mountaineers. Besides that, those are the 2 strengths for West Virginia on the offensive side of the ball. But if Austin Kendall is the real deal, and he can build chemistry with these wide receivers early on, West Virginia's offense could be more potent and a little bit more surprising than I think people are expecting in 2019. Defensively, West Virginia returns 6 starters, including Kenny Robinson, who led the team last year with 4 interceptions, Josh Norwood, and Giovanni Stewart. All 3 of those guys leading the secondary for the Mountaineers and will certainly be the strength for this West Virginia defense going into 2019. And like I said, I don't have high expectations for Neal Brown in his first year with the Mountaineers, but maybe he can surprise people much like he did winning 10 or more games with Troy in his final 3 seasons with the Trojans. I have them opening up the season with the win against James Madison. And a lot of people right now are picking this as a trendy upset pick in week 1. James Madison, one of the toughest opponents in all of the FCS, one of the toughest teams in all of the FCS, return a lot of talent in 2019. West Virginia does not. So this is a trendy upset pick for many. But I like West Virginia to get the job done. I don't think Neal Brown's going to see this game as a letdown. I don't think he's going to let this game be a letdown for the Mountaineers. I think he gets off to a 1-0 start in his first year in Morgantown. They then go on the road, though, to face off against Missouri. And this is a very, very difficult showdown for the Mountaineers. Missouri going to be one of the best teams in the SEC East this year, bringing in Kelly Bryant, the transfer quarterback from Clemson. Obviously, a veteran quarterback from Clemson. Got them to the college football playoff just a few years ago. They also bring back Larry Roundtree, a 1,000-yard rusher from last year, and a defense that some are calling to be the best yet under Barry Odom. This game on the road against Missouri, this West Virginia team's not here yet, going up against a Missouri team that could very well win 9 or 10 games in 2019. I don't like their chances against the Tigers. I think they fall to a quality SEC opponent. They return home, though, to face off against North Carolina State. And last year's game against the Wolfpack got canceled due to weather, and that was really disappointing because you had the opportunity to see 2 great quarterbacks in Ryan Finley at NC State and Will Grier at West Virginia. Unfortunately, both of those quarterbacks are gone now. And now you have Matt McKoy for the Wolfpack and Austin Kendall for the Mountaineers. This is a game that I got a lot of hate for, because I'm picking West Virginia to pull off the upset against the Wolfpack, if you want to call it that. They have home field advantage, and I like that. I think they own the quarterback advantage. I think Austin Kendall is a little bit better right now than Matt McKoy, the sophomore quarterback for the Wolfpack. And while NC State probably does own the slight defensive advantage right now, I think home field advantage and the secondary for West Virginia gives them the edge over this North Carolina State offense that I think will struggle early on. I like West Virginia to get a quality win over a quality Power 5 opponent, and they start off the season 2-1 under Neal Brown. And that is not a bad win at all for the Mountaineers. They then go on the road to face off against Kansas. That's going to kick off Big 12 play. And if Kansas wants to get a Big 12 win in Les Miles' first year in Lawrence, this is it. This is it. Their home game against the Mountaineers. This is a trap game, in my opinion, if you want to call it that, for West Virginia. Kansas, of course, going to be led by Puka Williams on offense, the star running back, who will be suspended at the beginning of the season, but will, of course, be back for this game. And really, he's going to be the leader for this Kansas offense and maybe this entire Kansas team. I think Les Miles will get the Jayhawks to a bowl game, maybe as soon as next year, but he's going to struggle in year one. The Jayhawks will be much improved competitively, maybe even statistically in 2019, but not necessarily in the win column. I think West Virginia goes on the road, gets a win over Kansas, but a close win at that. They are 3-1 with Neal Brown, so a very great start for them. They then get their bye week going on back home, I should say, to face off against Texas. Now, I like they have this bye week here. 3-1, there's a lot of confidence building in Morgantown. Maybe this West Virginia team's not as bad as we think. But when they face off against Texas here, they're facing off against a team that will also be coming off a bye week of their own. Also a Texas team that could very well win the Big 12 in 2019. They return Sam Ehlinger at quarterback, Keontae Ingram at running back, and Colin Johnson, one of the best wide receivers in the entire Big 12. That will certainly challenge this West Virginia secondary and defense as a whole. I just don't think, even though this game is at home, I don't think they have enough to compete with the Longhorns this year, and I think they fall to Texas. I also think they fall to Iowa State, a team that I see as very similar to the Longhorns. I think they're the third best team in the Big 12 right now. A very talented quarterback in Brock Purdy, a very talented wide receiver core, 8 returning starters on defense, could be the best yet under Matt Campbell. Even though this game is at home, I just don't think West Virginia can beat the Cyclones this year, a year that they certainly have their eyes set on making a Big 12 title appearance. And of course, going on the road against Oklahoma, things don't get any easier. Last year's game between the Sooners and the Mountaineers was an absolute thriller. 59-56 with a spot in the Big 12 title game on the line. And of course, West Virginia dropped that game. Yeah, there were some controversial calls, but they just weren't able to get the job done against Lincoln Riley and the Heisman winner, Kyler Murray. This year, going on the road to face off against the Sooners, bringing in another transfer quarterback in Jalen Hurts from Alabama. Their running game will be even better in 2019 to take that load a little bit off of Jalen Hurts. And their defense, in my opinion, should be better than they were in 2019 or 2018. This is still the Big 12. We're not talking about any elite defenses here, but they will be improved. On the road against an Oklahoma team that is still the king of the Big 12, Neal Brown's squad unfortunately does not stand a chance, and they drop their third straight to the Sooners. They then get a bye week going on the road to face off against Baylor. But like that Texas game, Baylor is also coming off a bye, so the Bears will be rested. And Baylor also is showing major signs of improvement in 2019. Charlie Brewer is one of the best quarterbacks in the entire Big 12. He took major strides last year as a sophomore. He'll take even bigger strides this year as a junior. And this defense, very similar to what I said about Missouri, maybe even similar to what I said about Iowa State, is probably going to be the best yet under Matt Rule. This game on the road at Waco, a Baylor team that some are considering a dark horse in the Big 12 this season if they can get some upset wins. They do host Oklahoma and Texas. I just don't see West Virginia beating the Bears this year, especially not on the road, and they drop their 4th straight game. They then get Texas Tech at home. Of course, they're going to need to win 3 of their final 4 games if they want to go bowling in Neal Brown's first season. Texas Tech, another winnable game for the Mountaineers, facing off against another brand new head coach in the Big 12 in Matt Wells. And if Texas Tech is unable to keep Alan Bowman healthy in this game or in this season, then West Virginia could very well win this game. Bowman missed the final 3 games of 2018, and if for some reason he is out in this West Virginia game, I might be leaning more towards the Mountaineers' way, especially with home field advantage. But Alan Bowman is one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. He returns 2 of his top wide receivers this season, and Matt Wells had solid defenses during his time at Utah State, and I think he quickly turns around this Texas Tech defense in 2019. Expect major signs of improvement from the Red Raiders, should make a bowl game in 2019, and one of those 6 wins, if not more, will come against West Virginia. The Mountaineers fall once again. They then go on the road to face off against Kansas State, a team that once again, like 3 other teams, bring in a brand new head coach in the Big 12. This time it's Chris Kleiman from North Dakota State in the FCS, where he won 4 national championships there. And I've said it over and over again throughout our Big 12 predictions that I think Kleiman inherited the best situation and the best team out of the brand new head coaches in the Big 12. I love his quarterback situation, a veteran quarterback in Skylar Thompson, and I think he has a very veteran defense there in Manhattan as well. Kansas State maybe will not make a bowl game, but they will be very competitive and certainly will contend for one. This game on the road for West Virginia, just don't see it happening for them. They fall to the Wildcats here. And so now, after what would be 6 straight losses after a 3-1 start, you have to wonder what the morale is like in Morgantown. They're obviously out of bowl consideration. What will their effort be in their final 2 games against Oklahoma State and TCU? And I will say that what I've learned under Neal Brown during his 4 years that he spent at Troy is that none of his teams ever give up. They just don't put the ball down and just say, well, forget it. And they will be competitive all the way until the end. And you'll see that here in the second to last game of the season when they beat Oklahoma State at home. And I know a lot of people will criticize maybe this game. How can they beat Oklahoma State when they can't beat Baylor or Texas Tech or even Kansas State? Oklahoma State, though, has questions at quarterback for themselves. Will it be the redshirt freshman and Spencer Sanders? Or will it be Drew Brown, the senior transfer from Hawaii? I think this West Virginia defense steps up, shuts down the running game of Chuba Hubbard, forces whoever's at quarterback to win this game through the air. The secondary shuts down Tylan Wallace, the top wide receiver, maybe in the Big 12, but certainly for Oklahoma State this season. And this Oklahoma State defense only returns 5 starters and allowed over 32 points per game last year. I expect that to improve, but not enough. Austin Kendall will continuously get better week in and week out. And keep in mind, he's only a junior. He'll have 1 more year in Morgantown after 2019. I think they get a quality win over Oklahoma State, their second win in Big 12 play under Neal Brown. But they get the upset over the Cowboys for their 4th win of the season, but fall to TCU in the season finale. A TCU team that, like Oklahoma State, has questions at the quarterback position, but once they figure that out, will be very tough to beat. It's that typical bounce-back year that we'll see from Gary Patterson. After a disappointing 2018, the defense is going to be so much better after they suffered so many injuries last year. A very veteran defense, a great wide receiver in Jalen Reagor, 2 dominant running backs, and like I said, once they get that quarterback situation figured out, they're going to be tough to beat, especially on the road. I think West Virginia falls in the season finale to the Horned Frogs, and the Mountaineers go, for some, a disappointing 4-8 in Neal Brown's first season in Morgantown. And I think what people have to understand is that Neal Brown's first season at Troy was a 4-8 season. He then had 3 straight double-digit win seasons after that before taking this job at West Virginia. So a disappointing season for the Mountaineers. Yes, the talent, though, is simply not there. They lost so much, and that's why I don't think they're going to be able to go bowling in year 1. But you can sure as heck expect the Mountaineers to go bowling in year 2. And Neal Brown, like I said, the right man for the job, and will have this Mountaineers squad competitive and competing for a spot in the Big 12 title sooner rather than later. So guys, as always, thank you for watching us here on YouTube. Go follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Gridiron Expert, and check out our official website, thegridironexpert.com. Sign up for our newsletter and sign up for our expert picks. For just $30, you will receive every single one of our 2019 college football spread picks, including the postseason. I can promise you that is a deal you do not want to pass up. So join our team, sign up today only at thegridironexpert.com. And guys, as always, thank you for watching us here on YouTube. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.